Welcome back to Etheria Restart. Today we're here talking about Lily, one of the most desired animus inside of the game. We're going to be taking a look at her skills, how we have her built out, her shell, prowess, everything from this animus. Now, this video has been sponsored by Etheria Restart, and I would love it if you guys tried out the game. To do that, you have a QR code right here and a link in the description, which will get you 10 free additional pulls as well, which you never know. You could be lucky and pull a Lily in that. Before we get into this though, I want you guys to let me know in the comments below, have you yet pulled Lily on your account, or are you still on the hunt? I have Hermes with me today, and he's going to be going through the skills and everything, breaking down this animus. What's up, Hermes? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm super excited because in the beta, I had no idea about the power of Lily or really even who she was as an animist. And so then getting to see you play with her and do so well with her in the main server just kind of opened my eyes to just how crazy good this animus is.
Yeah, she's definitely a beast, man, which is why everyone wants her. It's why teams are being made that are like no Lily teams, kind of showing that she's so dominant that if you don't have her, these are teams that could be used instead. Either way, let's start off with the skills. Why don't you take us through why she's so dominant, and at least for the skills.
Yeah, so I would say that her A2 is the most important ability that you're going to come across in her kit because it applies that twin trick buff. That twin trick buff is a only can be applied to one ally at a time, which is really important to think about, but it's super, super valuable because every time that Lily takes a turn, she's going to boost the ally that has twin trick by an additional 30% of their turn meter, which is really, really big boost to get in any kind of battle you're going against. Additionally, she puts out increased speed by 30% on the entire team. Another huge boost, speeding up your whole team, making everyone get more attacks in, cycling around your debuffs and your damage. Finally, just a paragraph on this skill. If an ally already has Twin Trick, instead of reapplying that Twin Trick buff, they're going to get instead a crit damage increase by 50%, which is really, really big. This skill, you want to make sure that you are putting your lattice into this skill and maxing it out because of all the benefits. Because the biggest thing that it does is it increases the duration of the crit damage buff to 3 turns down from 2, and it decreases the skill cooldown by 1 turn down to 3 turns. What this means is that you're going to get a uptime, 100% uptime on a 50% crit damage boost on your damage dealer in a fight, and that is crazy good.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about the genre as a whole, there's a lot of different buffs that you look forward to, but the number one is typically speed, and getting crit damage up, especially by 50%, that is an insane number. So, okay, we have it right here that this A2 is going to be where she's going to be upgraded first. That's where you're going to be investing right off the bat. What's your second favorite, or maybe the second most important skill, or the one that you want to talk about next?
I would say that A1 is super big. What was interesting is that her A2 is like the cornerstone of her kit, but her A1 is actually what you want to upgrade first, skill priority wise. But the thing is they're so close that honestly, I would invest my first 8 gold lattice into her A2, her A1 and her A2 just right off the bat because they're both so good.
Copy. Understood. All right, so let's talk about that A1.
So that A1 is really big. Obviously, 240% damage, not really doing much because you're not building her for damage. You're building her to go fast and be tanky, right? So what it really does is it has a 50% chance that gets uptime. It just gets boosted to 50% to increase the turn meter of herself and the ally with the lowest turn meter by 20%. Just more turn meter boosting coming out of this animus is crazy. Like, it's just crazy to think about just how much turn meter fill this animus is bringing on her A1 and her passive. And additionally, once it's maxed out, it has a 100% chance for the ally that has that twin trick buff for them to then go and attack, do their basic attack on whatever enemy animus Lily is attacking. So that means if you've got a Didding maxed out, super buffed up, he's going to be able to then attack whatever animus that Lily's attacking and do a ton of extra damage.
So basically pairing her with a massive damage dealer is just going to make them basically unstoppable, just nuking your enemies.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be huge. I mean, just crazy damage boosting potential all throughout her kit. And this A1 is really where it comes to just, I would say, to a head, because this is really where she's going in and getting so much additional attacks.
Got it. So what do you like about that A3?
Her A3 is an interesting one. I think that it is very valuable, but I don't think you necessarily need to max it out, especially because of how limited your perfect lattice are in this game. I would say that what makes it good is, once again, what you go in, it's all about that twin trick buff, right? So it has the opportunity to reduce the cooldown of all of an ally skills that has that twin trick buff by 2 turns. So if you have a 4 turn cooldown, all of a sudden now that's a 2 turn cooldown on that animus. Additionally, it has a 45% chance that gets boosted up to, I think, a 60% chance. Oh, just a 55% chance for her to then increase the skill cooldowns of all enemy skills by 1 turn. And why that's so important is because basically you're just locking out the enemies for a turn to get one additional turn of debuffs or control, or even just straight up damage. And so it gives you an opportunity to kind of let your enemies breathe and get yourself together in a longer fight. And that is really, really valuable, especially in arena.
So if all of this is so important, why were you suggesting that we don't spend that lattice on this A3? It's better spent elsewhere, not necessary for this to be a success?
So I would say that it is a kind of a combination of both, right? It is better spent elsewhere when
Hmm.
you're, especially when you're this early on. I mean, you think about it, we're what, like a month and a half into this game, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy early. I'm totally losing track of time, but we're so early still that you have so many animus you're pulling in because of all the free pulls you get, especially from that code, right? You got to get that in there. But that you really want to make sure that you're using your resources effectively, right? So if you have a damage dealer like a Messiah, his A3 gets so much damage boost that it's more worthwhile for you to max that out as opposed to maxing out that Lily A3. Now, if you have no other good SSR options, this is still a very solid ability to invest in, but it is not a top of the line ability that, like, you must invest in this right now, or else you're just not going to get your max out your damage potential.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and it's also nice for us to be able to share that with people so that they know that they could save the lattice on the A3, invest it into the A1 and the A2, and still see a ton of success utilizing Lily. All right, let's talk about where do you want to go next? Do you want to talk about her module? Do you want to talk about her shell? Where do you want to move to?
I think that her modules are a really good spot to start at. Yours is, I want to say, a little bit of a janky build from what I've seen.
Hmm.
And so if the comments want to say, like, give you some suggestions on a better build, from what I've seen from your build, is basically just speed, right? And I think that's really good as you're starting out. When you're building a Lily, build her just fast. Like, she just needs to go really, really fast.
Hmm.
She does so much turn meter boosting, so much ally attacks that you get her faster and she'll do great. So you have a 12-piece Swift Rush, and then you just have some random really fast gear on your account. And that's really the whole goal of the build, is just fast.
So, however you can get the most speed on her with whatever gear that you have, that's your recommendation.
Exactly.
All right, that makes sense. It honestly sounds easy enough. So we already kind of spoke about prowess, how you invested in the A1 and the A2. Want to move over to Shell?
Yeah, let's do it. Actually, I love the shell that you have on Lily. It's actually, I would say, I don't think it's a maxed out speed on that Shadow Dash, but it's
Hmm.
still very high with that 18 speed. And then that 35 that you get is it's just so much speed that you get from the shell. And then a gigabyte is just an excellent option. I mean, every 3 actions by the enemy units, you get a 35% turn meter boost. Like, that's just, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about how, again, how much turn meter she boosts everybody else by, to then give her a shell that boosts her turn meter by a ton is
Hmm.
just another incredible way to run with her.
So, are you saying this is one of your favorite shells to pair with Lily?
Yeah. I love pairing it actually with a lot of different animus, and I think it's one of the best to pair with her just in general.
Hmm. Just because you're focusing on that turn meter and that speed.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, makes a lot of sense. What else do you want to tell people that are maybe just getting themselves into Lily? Because a lot of times people that are that are looking at guides like this. They just unlocked the Animus, and they're like, okay, now what am I supposed to do next? Any last tips for people that just maybe just unlocked her, besides a big congratulations to them?
So the first thing that's the most important is that in most cases, you're going to be fine just using her on auto. The thing to remember is that the Animus with the highest attack on auto is the one that she's going to put that twin trick ability on. So in some team comps, um, your Shadow Sanya is going to be a really, really good pair with her. And that Shadow Sanya has the ability to go in on her A1 and put out two um, uh, damage over time debuffs onto a single target. And
Mm-hmm.
that is really good for really fast boss clears. So the big thing to remember with her is that you want to make sure that Shadow Sanya has the highest attack on the team, other than obviously Lily, because she's not going to apply it on herself, to make sure that she's getting the maximum value. And then also, if you have two damage dealers in a team and one of them is like the one you want Lily to be pairing up with, but she's not, make sure that the one you want her to pair up with has the highest attack, because that is the Animus that is always going to get that twin trick ability. And that's really important to make sure that they're the ones that have it. Even if they're defensive based, they would still need to have the highest attack, because that's just how Lily's AI works.
Got it. All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's a good tip too, because I could see people getting confused if they couldn't get that to connect up and pair up properly. I appreciate it, man. That was some great tips on Lily. Any last things you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, man. I mean, good luck to everybody on pulling her. Obviously, they're trying to add in some more light and dark units. So, they're weakening the pull rate of her a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully everyone's got a Lily in their future.
I hope so as well. She's an amazing Animus. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, thanks to Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video. And be sure to download the game with the QR code or link in the description. We'll see you guys in another video in just a day or two. Take care, guys.